Hey guys, this is Tauna, and today we have our first look at 2026, the preview panel from the recent MagicCon Atlanta. The preview panel has literally just finished. I was awake at 3:45 a.m. to record this video for you guys, and I've just been going through it as it's been announced, so that way you guys can catch up with it. So this is the preview panel for the next year of Magic. We've got heaps of stuff to cover here, from Lorwyn to some surprises and a whole bunch of stuff. They said that 2025 was the greatest year for Magic so far, with more people than ever playing the game, which is also really hype. I'm very excited about that. And I'm incredibly hyped about a bunch of the different sets for next year too. Now, before we get into it though, there is 7 sets for next year. They didn't say whether they were all standard legal or not. I believe at least 6 of them are standard legal, but we'll see if the 7th one is or not, but we'll see. There's also the official announcement of some huge Final Fantasy stuff as well for the upcoming Final Fantasy Holiday release too, so we'll get to that later. So we're going to start out with Lorwyn, but before we do get into that, make sure you guys subscribe, make sure you share the video around, all that kind of stuff. We are absolutely smashing it here, getting that instant speed breaking news, literally just finished. We've got split second on this because, we're just going straight into it. So starting out with Lorwyn Eclipse, so this is going to be releasing January 2026, and there is lots of fun callbacks to the original sets, both Lorwyn and Shadowmoor as well. So they've shown off a whole bunch of familiar faces that are going to be returning. You can't see the name for this one, but this is Aisling down here, Aisling Rekindled. We've got Sig returning, we've got Brigid, and then we've got Grub over here. Then they've also shown off a bunch of these. So we'll actually show you what these are later on. But, they said a little bit about the way Shadowmoor and Lorwyn is working now. Instead of there being like this constant switching between the two, the whole plane switching, there's instead just like part of it switching at a time and, going back and forth and stuff. And you don't know, if you're one person in Lorwyn, you might be a completely different person over in Shadowmoor. So there's going to be some very interesting stuff to see as to how that's working. So, these are the 2 different kind of aspects there. With Lorwyn, there must be Shadowmoor, is what they said. Trees lose their leaves, doom and gloom settle over glades of flowers, and the darker nature of the plains springs forward. So you can see these are 2 different aspects of the same thing, and we'll show you what cards these are from soon, which are incredibly hype. So they said, it used to be the whole world would be changed with the passing of the Aurora. Now the creatures of Lorwyn can move between the 2 worlds. The day and night push right up against one another. And this is some art here. This card here is Morningtide's Light, which I'll show you in a second. But you can see here literally on one side here, we've got Shadowmoor. On the other side, we've got Lorwyn. And there's just the 2 different aspects of the plane, colliding in real time in front of our eyes. It's really cool. So this is the card, Morningtide's Light there. So it has exile. I'm going to just move myself out of the way for the rest of this probably. Exile any number of target creatures at the beginning of your next end step. Return those creatures at the beginning of the next end step. The next end step, not yours. Return those creatures to the battlefield tapped under their owner's control. Until your next turn, prevent all damage that will be dealt to you. Exile Morningtide's Light. So you can see here, one notable thing about this is if you exile a creature and it goes to exile and then comes back, it will be on its front side, which is very important because there is a bunch of 2-sided cards going to be showing up here, which we'll show you in a second. But there is 2 new vast elementals that have awoken, one for the day and one for the night. This is Eridu, who brings the daylight of Lorwyn, and then on the other side, we've got Isilu, Carrier of Twilight there. The 2 different aspects there. And you can see here their card that combines the 2 of them. So they can change characters, whether they are from Lorwyn or Shadowmoor, and we've got Eridu here with Flying Lifelink, giving all your creature spells Convoke, and then at the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay black. If you do, transform into Eridu, and then, transform Eridu, and then on the other side, Isilu here has Flying Lifelink, and then each other non-token creature you control has Persist. So very interesting, having these 2 different aspects of the same character showing up, and then they transform based off if they're from Lorwyn or from Shadowmoor at that time, because, it's not like this whole plane's changing at a time. It's just part of it's changing, which is very interesting. Then we've got Sig doing the same thing here. We've got Sig here from Lorwyn on here over on the side here. Can't be blocked when he enters or transforms into Sig. 1-to-1 Wisdom. Target creature gains when this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker. Draw a card until end of turn. And then at the beginning of your first main phase, you can pay white to transform Sig. And then on the other side, still can't be blocked. And when it transforms into Sig, Wanderbrand Shield, target creature you control gains protection from each color until your next turn. And at the beginning of your first main phase, you can transform back. So you've got like these two different aspects that can switch. And it's not just, these elementals that are switching. It's our characters that we've seen before. We can see their Lorwyn side. We can see their Shadowmoor side. And if they happen to kind of slip through into the other aspect, then you can see them kind of transform. It looks like a bunch of them here are like actually transforming based off of at your first main phase, you can transform them yourself. We've got Ashling Rekindled here and Ashling Rhinebound. So the Rekindled version, when it enters or transforms into it, you may discard a card if you do draw a card. And then the other side, you've got the absolutely tortured looking Ashling there. At the beginning of your first main phase, or when they transform into Ashling Rhinebound, and at the beginning of your first main phase, add 2 mana for any one color. You can spend it to only cast spells with mana value 4 or greater. So you've got these two different versions of Ashling there too. And here you can see more of our favorite characters coming back, and then, they're transformed based off of which side they're on, if they're over here on the Lorwyn side, or we've got their more shadowy aspects over here on the Shadowmoor side. We've got the Bitter Blossom Bearer here, which we've seen from the VIP lounge last night. I keep saying Bitter Blossom. Bitter Bloom Bearer, 2 black, flash, flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, you lose 1 life, and then you create a blue-black fairy creature token with flying. That's a 1/1. I'm calling it Bitter Blossom because it is Bitter Blossom with legs. It's really cool. I really, really like it. And it's going to be the headliner for the set here. So here we've got the special serialized version of it. Number 352 in the set. 500 of them in total. And then here, this is the Fable frame. It is so similar to like the Wilds of Eldraine frames as well. It is absolutely magical. I love it. It's so cool. Very storybook. It's incredibly cool. We've got other mechanics from the past coming back. We've got like hybrid mana here coming back from Shadowmoor, and then from Lorwyn we've got like the Evoke. So this one here is Emptiness. When it enters, you can, if 2 white was spent to cast it, return target creature card with mana value 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. And when it enters, if 2 black was spent to cast it, you can put 3 -1/-1 counters on up to 1 target creature. And then you've got the Evoke there. So you can evoke it in, bring it in. Most likely, if you evoke it, you're going to want to pay either, obviously, 2 white or 2 black for it. But if you cast it for its full cost up here with 6, you can then cast it with both, right? You can bring it in with both the white and the black aspects, and then get both the value from both aspects of it. We've also got Mutable Explorer here. It's got Changeling, and then when it enters, you're going to create a tapped Mutavault token. Now, back with, I think the first time they did it was like one of the Llanowar Elves a while back, that create Llanowar Elves. But then when they brought out Modern Horizons 3, they made it, more obvious, where you can just create a tapped token that's a named card already, and that's what this is. You're creating a Mutavault token. It's just a Mutavault, essentially. And then here is the Fable version of that card as well. We've also got Figure of Fable. It's one of the ones that, you can slowly evolve it. You pay green and a white, and it becomes a Kithkin Scout with power and toughness 2/3. Then if it's a Scout, then you can pay additional 3 mana to turn it into a Soldier that's 4/5. Then finally, you can pay 6 mana to turn it into an Avatar with base power and toughness 7, 8, and protection from each of your opponents. So you can kind of slowly evolve up this Kithkin. And it's a callback to Figure of Destiny from one of the original Lorwyn sets. Also got Ashling's Command here, Returning of Kindred. So this is a Kindred Elemental instant, and it's got choose to create a token that's a copy of target elemental you control. Target player draws 2 cards. It deals 2 damage to each creature target player controls, or you can have target player create 2 treasure tokens. So there's going to be some really cool stuff you could potentially pull off with this. I love the little fox up here as well. That's so adorable. So here's some other ones of like, the Fable art there as well. We've got Celestial Reunion, Taster of Wares, and then Moon Shadow. That's so cool. I love it. It's such incredible art. I absolutely love these Fable arts. It's so cool. And the art that I promised you that we talked about earlier on, these are the shocks coming back. So these are the other 5 shocks. We had 5 shocks printed within Edge of Eternities, and then we've got the other 5 here being printed within Lorwyn Eclipse. So we've got the Hello Fountain, Blood Crypt, Temple Garden, Steam Vent, and the Overgrown Tomb there. I believe these are the other 5 that weren't printed within Edge of Eternities. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe, see, I feel like Blood Crypt was printed in Edge of Eternities, but maybe I'm going crazy. No, I am just going crazy. Yeah, so these are the other 5 ones that weren't printed previously, which is obviously hype, having all 10 of the shocks back, and, anyone can pick them up now because they're going to be in packs that are actually available. All right, so this is the full product lineup here. So they didn't go too much in depth into any of it. We've got the Draft Night box down here, which is enabling a 4-player draft, pick 2 draft. It's got 12 play boosters, 1 collector booster, and then lands alongside it. And then we've got the commander decks down here as well that I'll blow up here. So we've got 5-color one that's featured around Lorwyn. So this one here is meant to be Lorwyn, and then a Shadowmaw one here with Blight Curse. So this is summon huge elementals, sacrifice and duplicate. And then over here we've got Blight Curse, -1/-1 drain, and unleash creature combos. So, if you're after these decks and you're interested in them, picking up cards for them now isn't going to be a bad idea. Unfortunately, they didn't show the commanders, but hopefully we see them before too long. Look, this one's got freaking Firefox as well. It is like a shadow, like a watery deer looking thing. That's cool. All right. So there's also going to be an upcoming D&D digital expansion called Lorwyn First Light. So if you are into, D&D, you can pick up a digital expansion that kind of take you through a Lorwyn adventure and everything. And you can see the art here as well. Like you can see the split of Lorwyn and Shadowmaw here. Even like this elf here seems to be, it's an elf? I think that's an elf, right? Yeah, I think that's an elf. Kind of split down the middle as to like, the Shadowmaw side and the Lorwyn side there too. All right, and then there's also going to be 60 card standard level precons that are going to be unleashing alongside it, with each in-universe set for the next year. And these are $24 MSRP. The first two here are going to be Pirates and Angels. So after that, in March 2026, there's going to be an unannounced Universes Beyond. We don't know what it is. It's going to be announced at New York Comic Con. Notably, they've got a panel with Nickelodeon, and we've talked about what it likely is. I did a video the day before, about what, the 2026 Universes Beyond most likely are. This one here is most likely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or some kind of Nickelodeon collab. We will see exactly what it is, but for now, I'm keeping it at facts that were announced here, and this is what they said, basically. It's an unannounced Universes Beyond. Let's go beyond that, though, to April 2026. We've got the Secrets of Strixhaven. So in here, we're going to be venturing beyond the school walls of Strixhaven. They did some very interesting things here. They talked about the fact that, what happens after you graduate from Strixhaven, essentially? Like, what are we going to see there? I can probably bring myself back across now, and I'll just make myself a little bit smaller here. So basically kind of, following some of the previous students from there, as well as a new batch of students. And they also talked about, students coming from across the multiverse, thanks to the, the Omen paths and everything. So unfortunately, we didn't get any reveals for this or anything like that. We get some art and stuff, which is really cool. They also announced that there's going to be a young adult novel releasing alongside it. They said alongside it, but then they also talked about this was releasing, I think they said in February, so we'll see. That has a special promo command tower with Strixhaven flavor up here. And this is following the first class of students from across the multiverse that come in via Omen Pass to then learn magic at Strixhaven. After that, in June 2026, we've got Marvel Superheroes. So this one here is Marvel Superheroes. It's essentially like just every Marvel superhero, right? It's going to go from everything from, you know, your street level up to like Scarlet Witch. Every character here that they show here is going to be featured in the set or shown within the set. So you've got Wolverine, you've got Black Panther, She-Hulk, Miss Marvel here. And you'll note that Miss Marvel has her like stretchy powers because these are based off of the comic book versions of them. So, you know, we're not getting like the hard light version. She's using hard light in the comics now, so I can't even say that anymore. Anyway, we've got Iron Man, we've got Thor, we've got Human Torch, which, you know, most likely means Fantastic Four, which we'll show you in a second, War Machine, and Wasp there. So over here, we've got Captain America Super Soldier. Notably, these are different cards to the ones we've got already. You know, this is Captain America Super Soldier here. It is not the Captain America First Avenger that we got from the Secret Lair. But they may reprint the Secret Lair stuff in here anyway. We'll see. So Captain America, Super Soldier, Iron Man, Master of Machines, Black Panther, Vanguard down here, and then finally Killmonger, Scourge of Wakanda. I absolutely love this art for Killmonger. I'm a huge Marvel nerd, and I'm really happy, you know, to get Marvel cards. I think that the issues with Spider-Man were not because of it being Marvel. I think the issues with Spider-Man were because of it being a rushed set that was rushed from being a smaller set up to a bigger set. So I'm excited to see if, you know, this one is much better. I mean, I'm really hoping so. We've got this card art here with a whole bunch of villains showing up. Everything with like, you know, Viper, Titania. We've got Ghost, the OG Ghost from the comics back up here. Ultron, Absorbing Man, Zemo, Taskmaster. This is the only one that I cannot remember the name of. Yeah, all the rest of them I could name easily. We've got Fantastic Four showing up here, which is great. I absolutely love. This card's actually called the Fantastic Four. So I assume that this is just a card with the Fantastic Four that's a legendary creature, so you can run the whole Fantastic Four as your commander. That's really cool. I'm excited about that. And then a whole bunch of other arts here. So as I said, you know, street level stuff down here. We've got the Heroes for Hire. We've got up here, I don't know what this art is. So this is a very interesting art. It's showing like a whole bunch of the like OG superheroes alongside like their proteges essentially. So you've got like Ant-Man here with Stature, Captain Marvel with Miss Marvel, Hawkeye with Kate Bishop, and then Wiccan and Scarlet Witch up there, and Pizza Dog down here as well, which is really cool. We've got Go Nuts up here, which is Squirrel Girl, and then we've got Nick Fury here showing a whole bunch of the Avengers in the background there. All right, now in August 2026, we've got Magic the Gathering / The Hobbit. They didn't announce much more about this besides the fact that is a Hobbit set coming and it is August 2026. They said, join Bilbo Baggins, Thorin, Gandalf, and all your favorite characters on the journey to the Lonely Mountain. There may or may not be a dragon involved. So up here, you can see Smaug with little Bilbo down there. We've got this card here, which is My Precious, and God, that is absolutely haunting art of Gollum there. That's absolutely amazing. And then we've got Bilbo up here with Gandalf with the dwarves and Thorin heading off on their journey. Up here you can actually see the dragon in the background, which is interesting because the dragon should not be awake then, unless that's not meant to be the dragon. I don't know, maybe I'm going crazy there. Yeah, so basically, you know, August 2026, we've got the Hobbit set. After that, they kind of sat there for a while teasing this, and I did not like it. They're teasing like all the stuff they could not say about it, but they called it Reality Fracture. Said about, you know, this is essentially meant to be a very innovative and very unique set. I don't know, like, if they're talking innovative in regards to how the set actually works, or innovative in regards to how it's going to alter the lore and stuff like that. We'll see. But either way, something interesting and innovative is meant to be happening here with this Reality Fracture in October, which is the ziplining event set. You know, bringing together all of the storyline that's going on at the moment, all of those different, you know, story aspects. You've got loot, you've got Jace going into meditation realm, exploding and stuff like that. Lots of stuff that kind of brings together. After that, in November 2026, we've got the Star Trek set. So this is going to be Star Trek. I do not know much about Star Trek at all, besides the stuff from like the Paramount movies, I think it was. I have not seen the original one. But here is a bunch of different cards from it. We've got Chancellor Gowron here. Captain Kirk boldly going. That's a great title. I really love it. The Starship Enterprise, and then we've got Crystalline Entity. And I love the art for this. This is just really, really awesome. That's just so cool. And then finally, we've got Warp Speed as the other card that they showed there. Again, this is a full set. It'll be interesting to see what it is. I am not hugely interested in Star Trek, so it's a set that I most likely will skip. And that's okay. It's okay to have sets that you're going to be skipping, and this is going to potentially be one that I will be skipping for sure. All right, into the Final Fantasy stuff, which is probably what you're all here for. So they talked about the Final Fantasy holiday release and a bunch of stuff, and this is happening December 5th. So first of all, there's going to be a new promo that's going to be coming out. This is the promo from the Una Grand Summoner from the Final Fantasy X Precon. This is going to be at WPN events while supplies last. I think they said that it's going to be a part of the Commander Box battle, but we'll see. I guess it depends on what your LGS wants to do with it. But either way, it's showing Una in her wedding dress. It's just, I love it. I love it so much. It's really cool. And then they went in to show the scene boxes. So there is 4 of them, and they all have 6 unique cards, new unique cards alongside them. They showed 3 of these unique sets of cards. So this one here is the first Final Fantasy. We've got Garland here. When he enters, target opponent becomes the monarch. When an opponent becomes the monarch, gain control of target creature that player controls for as long as they are the monarch. Creatures you control and don't own get +2/+2 and can't be sacrificed. So it's a theft based around like the monarch and stuff. It's really interesting. We got the Destined Warrior here. First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Cleric, Rogue, Warriors, and Wizards. Spells you cast cost 1 less. At the beginning of combat, creatures you control get +1/+0. And if you control your full party, creatures you control get +3/+0 until end of turn. So you can tell that, this is meant to be, the Destined Warrior is meant to be the commander for a new deck that's built around like the party mechanic and stuff. So you got the Destined White Warrior here, White Mage here. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. If you have a full party, put 3 +1/+1 counters on that creature instead. We've got Chaos Shrine's Black Crystal. When a non-token creature you control dies, exile it, and then at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a creature card exiled with it onto the battlefield under your control with a finality counter on it. The Destined Thief can't be blocked. Pay blue and tap. Another target creature you control can't be blocked. So they're meant to be like sharing their stuff around, right? Like Destined White Warrior shares your lifelink, Destined Black Mage here shares Death Touch, and then the Destined Thief here shares the can't be blocked. So this one here has whenever 1 or more creatures you control deal combat damage to 1 or more players, draw a card, then discard. If you have a full party, instead draw 3 cards. And then the Black Mage here deals 1 damage to each opponent each time you cast a non-creature, and then 3 if you have that full party. So, you're meant to building your party here. And I honestly might get this just to build my party, because I haven't got a party-based deck, and it looks really cool and really interesting. We've then got Final Fantasy VIII, the Children of Fate here, with a new card for Eda, Possessed Sorceress. At the beginning of combat on your turn, gain control of target creature an opponent controls until end of turn. Untap that creature, it gains haste until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control but don't own dies, return to the battlefield under its owner's control and you draw a card. That's pretty interesting. Fated Clash here has sorcery. You may cast this as though it had flash if a creature is attacking and a creature is blocking. Target creature you control and target creature an opponent controls each gain indestructible until end of turn, then destroy all creatures. That is really interesting. Renoa Angel Wing up here. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with flying get +1/+1 and gain vigilance until end of turn. Whenever 1 or more attacking creatures you control die, you may return 1 of them into the battlefield tapped under its owner's control with a flying counter on this. Do this only once each turn. Sifa Balam Rival down here. First Strike. Whenever you attack a player, go target creature that player controls. Whenever a creature attacking 1 or more opponent of your opponents becomes blocked by 2 or more creatures, that attacking creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. Jeweler's Flame. It's got an X cost, and then until end of turn, target blocked creature you control gets +X/+0 and gains trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, Oh, so it's because it gets blocked. Like if it's blocked, not a blocked creature. Look at that many cards from the top of your library. Exile one non-land card from among them and put the rest on the battlefield on the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exile card without paying its mana cost. I am gonna need that for my Zuko deck 100%. And then finally, Squall Gunblade Duelist. First strike, as he enters, choose a number. Whenever one or more creatures attack one of your opponents, if any of those creatures have power or toughness equal to the chosen number, Squall deals damage equal to its power to defending player. That is, that is crazy cool. I actually really like that. It reminds me of Talion, choose a number and deal the damage and draw cards and stuff. This is, I like it a lot. Next, we've got the Final Fantasy 9 one. They didn't show this, but it's looks really cool. We've got Alexandria up here. We've got Bahamut up there. This is, what's his face? Zidane. I don't know what that character's name is. Wait, that's Vivi, isn't it? Am I dumb? Is that Vivi? Don't tell me. And then finally, we've got whoever this is. I don't know these characters. I don't know Final Fantasy. I know Final Fantasy 10, and that's about as far as I go. And then Final Fantasy 15 here, finally, with one new card with Noctis Heir Apparent. Heir Apparent. Whenever a creature you control enters during combat, you may attach target equipment you control to target a creature you control. You can pay 3, exile Noctis, return to the battlefield under its owner's control, tapped and attacking at the beginning of that player's next declare attacker's step. It can't be blocked that combat. So then we've got the fishing gear here. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. If it's a permanent, you may put it onto the battlefield under your control. If you don't, create a 1/1. So you're going fishing through someone else's deck. The Chocobo camp here is a green land that enters untapped if you control a legendary creature. Tap, add green if you cast a bird creature this turn. When you next cast a bird creature spell this turn, it enters with an additional +1/+1 on it. And then you can pay 4 and tap it to create a 2/2 green bird creature token with when a land you control enters, this token gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Flash Photography. Cost 4, and you may cast this spell as though it had flash. If it targets a permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of target permanent. And then it's also got flashback for 6, campsite cuisine. When this enchantment or a legendary creature you control enters, create a food. Whenever you attack, you may sacrifice X foods. When you do, up to X target attacking creatures get +3/+3 and gain trample and indestructible until end of turn. And then finally, Warrior's Resolve. Creatures you control have training. At the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with a +1/+1 counter on it that attack this turn, draw a card. That was a lot of talking and a lot of really cool new cards. Then there's also going to be this Game Edition Commander deck. This thing's really cool, right? So it's a special edition of the Final Fantasy VII deck. It comes alongside the original Final Fantasy game, like you get a download code for the game, and it also comes with a promo of Cloud Midgar Mercenary, the absolute chase Cloud from the main set, except it comes with art from the original game. That's just really cool. Obviously, it's an insane upgrade for this deck, right? Like, it's a great upgrade for this deck. So yeah, getting this is great, except it's US only, which sucks. The final thing here is the Chocobo deck, Chocobo bundle. And this thing is insane. This is freaking insane. So it's $110, and you get a click wheel and a whole bunch of other stuff, right? You get like 10 collector boosts. 10 collector boosts. 10 play boosters. You get this amazing Paradise Chocobo. This is just really cool. I love that thing. That's just amazing art, an amazing promo to go alongside it. Then you'll also get 10 of these special art. And these are, I think they call them Eclipse foils. So these are new full art lands that are, they've got like the Chocobo footprints going over them, and like a Chocobo symbol here as well. I assume that's all foiling. And then in the background of it, they've got like, the Chocobos doing different stuff. There's an island here. You can see the Chocobo flying towards the island, etc. They're just, oh no, this is the Chocobo trail foil, not the Eclipse foil. And then you'll also get 2 promos. Now, I don't know entirely if these promos are random. I assume that they are random promos, but holy cow, some of the promos that they've chosen here. There is a new Vivi. Like, there is a new Vivi. Like, if you get that new Vivi, that's absolutely insane. Almost pays for the whole freaking box itself if you can get it MSRP. There's a special Cloud Mega Mercenary up here as well. And then on the other hand of the spectrum, there's, you know, some of the other cards that aren't as great because they just come in the precons, right? Like, they're amazing art, don't get me wrong. They're absolutely bonkers art. But they're not as valuable as a fucking Vivi, right? Like, oh man. Absolutely crazy stuff. And then you've also got these ones over here. You know, you got the Final Fantasy 10, you've got the Final Fantasy 14 down here, and, you know, Final Fantasy 6, 7, and 9. Yeah, that was Vivi earlier. I was right. Some just crazy ones. And this new Snapcaster Mage, that's new as well down here with Final Fantasy 14 art. So that's everything. There was a lot. I hope you guys had a wonderful day. Let me know what you think. Have a great day and goodbye.